What if everything you've been told about life, death, and the afterlife was only half the story? What if there were ancient truths, powerful, profound truths that were deliberately concealed from the masses? Hidden in the shadows of history, buried beneath the pages of sacred texts, is a secret so profound it could change everything you know about existence. In this video, we're going to delve into one of the most controversial and elusive questions of all. Why was reincarnation removed from the Bible? For centuries, the idea of reincarnation and ancient belief in the soul's cycle of birth, death, and rebirth was once a part of Christian doctrine. Yet, over time, it was mysteriously erased from the most influential book in the Western world. Why? What was so dangerous about the concept of reincarnation that it had to be stripped away from the scriptures? Was it simply the work of powerful institutions seeking control over spiritual truths, or is there something more profound at play? Throughout history, numerous ancient cultures, Egyptians, Greeks, Hindus, held reincarnation as a fundamental truth of human existence. Yet, somehow, this knowledge has been obscured in the Western world, particularly within the pages of the Bible. What was lost in the process? What wisdom was hidden from us, and why has it been kept in the dark for so long? Join me as we uncover the mystery of reincarnation's disappearance from the Bible, explore the deep esoteric philosophies that once embraced it, and reveal the hidden truths that still resonate today. This is not just a journey into the past, but a journey into the very essence of who we are, why we're here, and where we might be going. Stay tuned as we peel back the layers of history and spirituality to unlock the forgotten wisdom that has been kept from us for centuries. Let's begin this revelation and discover the hidden secrets that are waiting to change the way you view life, death, and beyond. To truly understand why reincarnation was removed from the Bible, we must first journey deep into history, far beyond the reach of the modern world. Ancient wisdom, held by the great civilizations of Egypt, Greece, and the East, once embraced the belief that life is not linear, it is cyclical. The soul, eternal in nature, would travel from one body to the next, experiencing different lives, different forms, and different lessons, until it reached a state of enlightenment or spiritual completion. This was not just a philosophical notion, it was seen as a universal truth, woven into the fabric of existence itself. The belief in reincarnation wasn't confined to the obscure corners of ancient societies, it was foundational to many of the world's most influential spiritual systems. The ancient Egyptians, for example, viewed the soul as a traveler through multiple lifetimes. The Book of the Dead was filled with references to a soul's journey beyond the physical world, reincarnating until it reached spiritual harmony. For them, the afterlife was not an end, but a continuation of a greater spiritual evolution. Similarly, Greek philosophers such as Plato, of the most revered thinkers in Western philosophy, taught the doctrine of metempsychosis, the idea that the soul would reincarnate into new bodies over time. Plato's Phaedo and Timaeus both contain references to the soul's immortality and its journey through cycles of rebirth. He believed that true knowledge could only be attained after many lifetimes of learning and purification. This philosophy also permeated Eastern spiritual traditions, where reincarnation was an established and essential belief. The Upanishads of ancient India, the sacred texts of Hinduism, spoke of the cycle of samsara, life, death, and rebirth, and the importance of moksha, liberation from this cycle. Buddhism, which emerged in the same cultural milieu, similarly emphasized the idea of samsara and reincarnation, seeing the cycle as both a challenge and an opportunity for spiritual growth. Now, let's shift our gaze to the rise of Christianity. Christianity, as we know it today, began to take shape in the early centuries of the Common Era, and with it came a shift in how the world understood life, death, and the afterlife. Early Christians were not as rigid in their beliefs as some modern denominations. In fact, many early Christian thinkers, including some of the Church Fathers, held a belief in the soul's journey through multiple lifetimes. One such figure, Origen of Alexandria, was a prominent theologian who explicitly supported the idea of reincarnation. He even argued that the teachings of Christ included references to reincarnation, especially in relation to the idea of resurrection. But, as Christianity evolved, the belief in reincarnation began to lose its place in the doctrine. By the 5th century, the early Christian councils, most notably the Council of Constantinople in 553 CE, began to explicitly reject the notion of reincarnation. The Church declared that anyone who held such views was to be anathematized, essentially banished as a heretic. Why was this? What led to the removal of such a powerful and ancient concept? The answer lies in a complex blend of political, spiritual, and cultural forces. The early Christian Church, under the growing influence of Roman emperors and their agendas, sought to consolidate power. Reincarnation, with its cyclical view of life and death, was seen as a threat to the linear salvation narrative that Christianity was striving to promote. The resurrection of the dead, as defined by the Church, offered a singular, final opportunity for redemption. Reincarnation, with its idea of multiple lifetimes, diluted this urgency and the promise of eternal life through Christ. Moreover, reincarnation hinted at a personal spiritual evolution, independent of the Church's authority, which was something the growing religious institution could not tolerate. The establishment of this new Christian dogma erased reincarnation from the Bible and much of the early Christian teachings. It was a powerful act of spiritual control, replacing the idea of the soul's long journey through multiple lives with a one-time, irreversible fate that could only be altered by the intervention of the Church. As time went on, the Bible itself became increasingly intertwined with political power. Reincarnation, like other esoteric knowledge, was seen as a disruptive force zone that could awaken people to their own inner spiritual potential and make them question the control of the institutionalized Church. And so, as with many other teachings, the truth about reincarnation was hidden, buried beneath layers of political and spiritual manipulation. But was it truly erased? Or does the essence of reincarnation still linger in the Bible, concealed in plain sight? We will explore this in greater depth in the next section, where we begin to break down the truth behind reincarnation's removal and its subtle, lingering presence within the sacred texts. Now that we understand the historical context of why reincarnation was removed from the Bible, let's delve deeper into the key concepts surrounding this idea, concepts that were suppressed, misunderstood, or deliberately hidden by the Church. The question is not just why reincarnation was erased, but what deeper truths it carried, and how these truths challenge the conventional understanding of life, death, and the soul's journey. At its core, reincarnation represents a fundamental truth, that the soul is eternal and life is not a single, solitary event. Rather, it is a continuous process of growth, learning, and spiritual evolution. Imagine the soul as a vast, ever-expanding ocean, and each lifetime is but a wave that rises and falls on the surface. The soul's journey is a cycle, with each lifetime adding a new layer to its wisdom and understanding. The goal is not just to live one life well, but to evolve through many, refining the essence of the self with each incarnation. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is an idea that runs through nearly every ancient civilization. The Greeks, for example, viewed reincarnation not only as a process of learning, but as a means of attaining higher knowledge and wisdom. The philosopher Socrates, in his dialogues, often alluded to the concept of the soul's immortality and its endless cycle of lives. He argued that life is a process of remembering the soul, in its various lifetimes, brings forward knowledge from past incarnations. But what does this mean for us, here and now? If we accept the idea of reincarnation, we must confront a fundamental shift in how we view our own lives. No longer are we mere passengers on a single journey from birth to death, but we are eternal beings, each lifetime offering us a new opportunity for growth. Every hardship, every joy, every challenge in our current life may be part of a greater pattern, one that stretches back through the ages. Our actions, our choices, and even our relationships could be echoes of past lives, reflections of lessons yet to be learned. This understanding brings a sense of power and responsibility. If we are eternal, then the mistakes we make in this life are not final, but part of an ongoing process. Each incarnation offers us a new chance to learn, to heal, and to move closer toward spiritual enlightenment. The very act of reincarnation is a reminder that we are not bound by the constraints of time. We transcend the linear view of life. Instead, we enter into a realm where the soul continues to grow, beyond the limitations of a single lifetime. Yet, it's important to note that reincarnation also carries with it a sense of mystery and complexity. The process of rebirth is not a straightforward one. Some believe that our souls reincarnate based on the lessons we have yet to learn, while others argue that past lives influence our present circumstance or personalities, our fears, and even our karmic debts. In this view, reincarnation is not merely about the passing of time, but about the soul's accumulation of experiences and wisdom. So, why was this profound idea removed from the Bible? The answer may lie in the fact that reincarnation offers no simple resolution. It offers no promise of final salvation, no neat ending to the story of life. Instead, it asks us to engage with the continuous, cyclical nature of existence, to see beyond the veil of death and into the infinite potential of the soul's journey. This in turn challenges the linear, one-time redemption story that Christianity sought to establish. The Church, in its desire for control and its need to provide a clear and unambiguous narrative of salvation, could not afford the ambiguity that reincarnation represents. But what if the essence of reincarnation still exists within the Bible, buried beneath layers of interpretation and doctrine? Could there be subtle references to the idea of multiple lifetimes, hidden in plain sight? In the next section, we'll explore just that. We will dive into the scriptures themselves and uncover hidden clues, overlooked passages, and alternative interpretations that suggest reincarnation was once very much a part of the Bible's teachings. Now that we've explored the foundational concept of reincarnation and its removal from the Bible, it's time to look much deeper into the sacred text itself. Could reincarnation still be hiding within the Bible, veiled beneath layers of allegory, interpretation, and translation? Were there subtle references to the soul's eternal journey still woven throughout the scriptures, even after its formal removal? Let's explore this mystery. One of the first places we can look is in the teachings of Jesus Christ himself. The New Testament, though heavily edited and curated, still contains traces of ideas that are in alignment with reincarnation. One particularly intriguing passage comes from the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus speaks to his disciples about John the Baptist. When asked whether John the Baptist is the Elijah spoken of in the Old Testament, Jesus replies, "If you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come." Matthew 11:14. Now, think about that for a moment. Jesus was suggesting that John the Baptist was a reincarnation of the prophet Elijah, had direct reference to the concept of the soul returning in a different body. This was not just a casual statement, but a profound acknowledgement that the soul can manifest in different forms across time. In the ancient understanding, Elijah's soul didn't vanish after his physical death, it returned to continue its mission through the body of John the Baptist. This concept of spiritual continuity through different lives is a key aspect of reincarnation. And yet, the Church has largely ignored or reinterpreted this passage, removing its original meaning in favor of a more comfortable, one-time resurrection. But what if Jesus was speaking not just of Elijah's spirit, but of the universal principle that souls continue their journeys through multiple lifetimes? There are other cryptic references throughout the Bible that may point toward reincarnation. In the Gospel of John, there's an intriguing passage where Jesus' disciples ask him about a man who was blind from birth. "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" John 9:2. Jesus responds by saying, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." At first glance, this might seem like an ordinary explanation of a man's suffering, but consider the question itself: who sinned, this man or his parents? The idea that the man could have sinned before birth suggests a belief in the soul's prior existence, a belief that the soul carries its karma, or spiritual consequences, from past lives. Why would Jesus' disciples ask such a question if they didn't already have some understanding of a soul's journey before birth? This subtle reference is perhaps an echo of an ancient belief system where karma and reincarnation were fundamental concepts. We can also turn our attention to the idea of resurrection itself. While the resurrection of Jesus is often interpreted as a one-time event, could it also be viewed through the lens of reincarnation? Many spiritual traditions that embrace reincarnation speak of spiritual resurrection, the rebirth of the soul into a higher state of being, not necessarily the return to a physical body. If we consider the resurrection as a metaphor for spiritual awakening and the continuous evolution of the soul, it may align more closely with reincarnation than we've been taught. And there are other hidden clues throughout the Bible, tucked away in parables and teachings that, when viewed through an esoteric lens, suggest the cyclical nature of existence. For example, in the story of the prodigal son, where a lost soul returns to the father, Is it not a metaphor for the soul's return to the source after many lifetimes of wandering? The Father welcomes the Son back with open arms, signifying the eternal love of the divine for every soul, regardless of the paths it has taken or the lives it has lived. But it's not just about individual verses, about the broader, overarching theme of spiritual growth that runs throughout the Bible. The Bible speaks of salvation, but what is salvation if not the culmination of a long journey of spiritual evolution? If we take this idea and apply it to the context of reincarnation, the entire narrative shifts. Salvation becomes not a single final event but the end of an ongoing journey of the soul that may take many lifetimes to complete. So what does all of this mean for us today? Are these hidden truths merely the remnants of a forgotten time, or do they offer us a glimpse into a higher, more expansive understanding of our existence? Could the teachings of Jesus, when viewed through a different lens, open the door to a more profound truth about the soul's journey? This brings us to the present moment, where we, as truth seekers, have the opportunity to reclaim these lost teachings. While the Church may have removed reincarnation from the Bible, the knowledge has never fully disappeared. It lingers in the margins of the text, hidden in allegories, parables, and seemingly innocuous phrases. It's up to us to see beyond the veil and reconnect with this ancient wisdom. But how do we bring this knowledge into our lives? How can we integrate the idea of reincarnation into our daily existence, our spiritual practices, and our understanding of the world? In the next section, we'll explore practical ways to begin applying these hidden truths about reincarnation into our lives, and how this knowledge can transform the way we view ourselves, our past, and our future. Now that we've uncovered the hidden references to reincarnation within the Bible and explored the deeper esoteric teachings surrounding the soul's eternal journey, it's time to ask, how can this knowledge transform our lives today? What practical tools can we use to integrate the idea of reincarnation into our daily experiences? And how can these teachings reshape our spirituality, our personal growth, and even our understanding of the world around us? Reincarnation is not merely an abstract concept, it's a living, breathing truth that can have a profound impact on our lives. By adopting the belief in reincarnation, we open ourselves to a new framework for understanding challenges, relationships, and even our deepest fears. It encourages us to view life as a continual process of learning, healing, and evolving, rather than a single, isolated event. Here are several powerful ways to begin incorporating reincarnation into your spiritual practice and worldview. 1. Embrace the concept of karma. Karma, the law of cause and effect, plays a central role in the idea of reincarnation. It teaches us that every action, thought, and decision has consequences, not only in this life but also in future ones. If you believe in reincarnation, you begin to see life's challenges and obstacles in a new light. Difficulties aren't punishments, but opportunities for growth, lessons that may have been set in motion by past actions either in this life or previous ones. Practical application. To begin working with karma, start by cultivating self-awareness. Observe your thoughts, actions, and reactions throughout the day. Ask yourself, what lessons can I learn from this experience? How can I shift my behavior or attitude to create more positive outcomes? Practicing mindfulness helps you become aware of your patterns and enables you to make better choices that positively influence your future, and possibly even your past. 2. Reflect on past lives. Whether you believe in past lives or not, reflecting on the possibility of previous incarnations can be a powerful way to unlock hidden wisdom. Some people use past life regression techniques to uncover memories of past lives, but this practice can be approached in other ways as well. The key is to acknowledge the possibility that certain patterns, fears, or relationships in your current life may be tied to past experiences. Practical application. Try meditative practices where you focus on the idea of your soul having lived before. Imagine your soul as an ancient traveler, learning and evolving through countless lifetimes. What lessons have you yet to learn? What unresolved emotions or attachments may still be influencing your present experience? You might be surprised at the insights that arise when you approach your life with the belief that it is part of a larger, ongoing journey. 3. Release the fear of death. One of the most transformative aspects of embracing reincarnation is the dissolution of the fear of death. If death is not an end, but rather a transition, a passage into another phase of existence, then the fear of dying loses much of its power. This shift in perspective can bring immense peace, allowing us to live more fully in the present moment without the anxiety of an uncertain future. Practical application. To release your fear of death, meditate on the eternal nature of your soul. Remind yourself that you are not merely a body with a temporary life, but an eternal spirit who experiences many lifetimes. Reflect on the wisdom of the ancients, who saw death as a natural, even sacred, part of the soul's journey. This can help you approach each moment of life with a sense of peace and acceptance, knowing that death is not an end but a transformation. 4. Heal past life karma through forgiveness. One of the most powerful ways to heal past life wounds and release karmic debts is through forgiveness. The belief in reincarnation tells us that our souls may carry unresolved issues from previous lifetimes, and these unresolved issues often manifest in our relationships and challenges today. By practicing deep forgiveness both toward ourselves and others, we can release the karmic ties that bind us to the past and move forward on our soul's journey. Practical application. Take time to reflect on relationships or experiences that feel unresolved or painful. Are there any individuals you hold grudges against? Is there a part of you that still feels guilt, regret, or anger about something you've done? Sit in meditation and visualize yourself releasing these negative emotions, offering forgiveness to those involved, and allowing your soul to be freed from the grip of past karma. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing, not just in this lifetime, but for the many lifetimes to come. 5. Develop a strong connection to your higher self. Reincarnation is not just about understanding the past, but about forging a deeper connection with our higher selves, the aspect of us that is eternal, wise, and beyond the limitations of the physical body. The more we tune into our higher self, the more we align with our true purpose, not just in this life, but across all lifetimes. Practical application. Engage in practices like meditation, prayer, or journaling to connect with your higher self. Ask for guidance from the eternal aspect of your being. What is your soul's purpose in this lifetime? What lessons are you here to learn? What can you do to fulfill your spiritual path and move closer to enlightenment? Strengthening this connection can help you navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and wisdom. 6. Seek out ancient teachings and wisdom. The wisdom of reincarnation is not limited to any single tradition. It spans cultures, philosophies, and religions. By studying esoteric texts, ancient wisdom, and spiritual philosophies, you can begin to piece together a more complete understanding of your soul's journey. Whether you explore the teachings of ancient Egypt, the works of philosophers like Plato, or the sacred texts of the East, each offers valuable insights into the eternal nature of the soul. Practical application. Begin your study of reincarnation by reading texts that explore the nature of the soul, the afterlife, and spiritual growth. You may want to explore the Tibetan Book of the Dead, Plato's Phaedo, or the Upanishads. As you read, ask yourself how these teachings align with your own experiences and understanding. The more you learn, the deeper your connection to the eternal wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. In this journey, we've uncovered the mystery of reincarnation's removal from the Bible and delved into the ancient wisdom that has been hidden in plain sight. We've seen how this truth was not only embraced by ancient cultures, but also subtly embedded within the teachings of Jesus himself. And we've explored how embracing reincarnation can transform your life today, helping you to heal, grow, and see yourself as part of an eternal journey of spiritual evolution. Reincarnation is not just a concept, it's a lens through which we can view our existence, a key to understanding the challenges we face and the lessons we are meant to learn. By embracing the idea of multiple lifetimes, we free ourselves from the limitations of a single, finite existence. We begin to see ourselves as eternal beings, evolving with each passing incarnation, learning, growing, and transcending. The question now remains, how will you live your life with this knowledge? How will you apply the ancient truths of reincarnation to heal your past, transform your present, and awaken to the limitless potential of your soul? The answers, as always, lie within you. If you felt the pull of these teachings, if you sense there's more to your existence than meets the eye, I invite you to explore further. Reconnect with the wisdom of the ancients, seek out the hidden truths, and embark on your own journey towards spiritual enlightenment. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who seek the hidden knowledge of our time. Until next time, remember, your soul is eternal, and the journey never truly ends.